So you're thinking about moving to Bend, Oregon, but you're just not quite sure where in town is going to be the right fit for you. Well, in today's video, we're going to be going over Bend's 13 distinctive different neighborhoods, give you a better understanding of each neighborhood, where it fits into the whole Bend mix to help you find a better idea of where in Bend could be the best fit for you. So if this video sounds like it's for you, then stick around because we're going to be getting after this tour right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Bend, Oregon, then subscribe to the channel and tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market in Bend, Oregon. My name's Ryan and I've lived in Bend for over 30 years. My business partner, Zach, and I, we get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking for help on making their smooth move to Bend, Oregon, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even set up a Zoom meeting. We'd love to help you make that smooth move to Bend, Oregon, or anywhere else nearby. So like we talked about in the introduction today, we're going to go through a map that actually kind of breaks Bend down into 13 different distinctive, unique neighborhoods that all makes up the city of Bend. And now, Bend is not that big of a town. We know this. It's about 100,000 people. And from a land standpoint, it's really not that big either. You can get to most places, point A to point B, within 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the traffic and time of day. But ideally, it's like there's still different personalities within the cityscape of Bend. And so some people want to have that information at their disposal before they make a decision as to where it is they're going to wind up living. So that's what we're going to do today. That's our goal, kind of break down some of the different neighborhoods to give you better ideas to, okay, what type of personality is this neighborhood versus that? You know, what's going on over here? What's the culture like? That's kind of the goal here with today's video. So without further ado, I'm just going to do a little screen share here and we can start this process immediately. Let me get my face over here so you can see me talking, and we're off and running here. So this is Bend. If we look at, like, say, the Google map, what we do, we usually start out our videos by just kind of going through this here. That's Deschutes County, the red line. And then we've got Bend. So it's like a square, kind of, you can break it up into 4 different quadrants. This website here is actually a very good tool I like to refer people to. It's called movingtobend.com, but it just kind of breaks down the neighborhoods into 4 different quadrants. And then what we're going to do is kind of go beyond that and talk about the 13 different neighborhoods that are all part of the 4 quadrants of Bend. So good resource here. Talks a little bit about Bend, restaurants, coffee shops, breweries, etc., the medical district, Pilot Butte State Park. I mean, every quadrant's got its own little unique twist and personality. And so that's what I love about Bend. There's just so much that's unique about it and different from one part of it to the other. But let's just kind of go through it a little bit here to give you better understanding as to what's going on. The Boyd Acres area, we'll just start with that. It's the very north end of town. There's a lot of new construction up there. There's a railroad track. I mean, the railroad track goes right through the city of Bend. But basically, like, up here is going to be like a big fork in the road, right? It's where Highway 20 and Highway 97 kind of get commingled. And one's going off to the west towards the mountains, the other one's going north towards Redmond. Both roads eventually lead to Portland, but 97 goes right through the center of town like this, as you can see here. And so it kind of splits up Bend into half, east and west. And so you get a lot of people that will do videos, or they'll do educational stuff about Bend. They always kind of talk about Bend. If you're here for a while, you'll realize that there's a west side and there's an east side of Bend, right? And so the two are different from each other to a certain extent. I grew up on the east side of town. I've lived on the west side of town. I got a feel for both. I love both sides. I love the east side because there's more property out there. I grew up on 12 acres in the southeast part of town. It was really cool to have like a little forest. We went right up against the BLM so we could get on our quads and 4-wheelers, motorcycles and stuff like that and go explore. A lot of deserty terrain out there. It's pretty flat the further east you get. A lot of juniper trees, a lot of sagebrush. It just smells great out there. But it's a desert, it's like the Oregon Badlands. And so where Bend is, in its location is like right on the tree line of ponderosa trees on the west side as we go up in elevation towards the mountains, and then right on that cusp of where we're too low for the ponderosas and it turns into like junipers on the east side of town. And the further east you go, it's just like badlands. And so it formulates the personalities of Bend too. The further east you go, the lower we get in elevation. The further north you go, same deal, lower in elevation. And so Redmond, a little bit further north, a little bit lower in elevation by about 600 feet, they don't have as many ponderosa trees. They've got more juniper trees. And so it's more like the east side of Bend as well. But if we're on the west side of Bend, we're sloping up towards the mountains. We're at about 3,800 feet on the very west edge of the city limits. And so the further west we go, the higher we get. Eventually we get to the base of the mountains. Mount Bachelor, the Sisters, Broken Top, that's all about 5,500 feet to 6,000 feet as a base level. And then they shoot up about 3,000 feet in vertical to get to their peaks. Their summits are like, 9,000 feet all the way up to like maybe 10,300, 10,500 in that range. But again, I digress. Back to the actual neighborhood tour here. And so you got 97 that goes right down the center of town. It kind of splits up the west side and east side. And then we have, of course, 20. This is coming in from the east side and it goes right here. And then eventually it will start. It hits right there where 97 stops, and then it restarts up here where this line is I already drew. But then we've got Greenwood Avenue turns into Newport and it kind of goes this way. That's kind of your quadrants right there. And so you've got your northeast, you've got your northwest, you've got your southwest, and we've got our southeast as well. And so that kind of makes up the four quadrants. And then if we were to break down the city by the distinctive named neighborhoods, we've got Aubrey Butte, we've got Summit West, two very, very sought after neighborhoods. Aubrey Butte, of course, is a butte. It's about 4,200 feet at its very peak. And so you got houses there all over the butte, scattered, probably 1,000 houses or so. And these are beautifully custom made homes. I mean, they've got fantastic views of the mountains looking to the west and north. They've got fantastic views of the city looking to the east. The sunrise up over Powell Butte to the east is fantastic, especially in the summertime. Truly a remarkable area. Anybody that has a chance to live there is truly in a unique position because the houses, they're custom built homes, right? And so they range from 2,500 square feet all the way up to 6,000 square feet. Custom builders go in there, they build them, and they become very unique pieces of property and assets for people that get to live there. But just a truly remarkable area. Great access to the river, great access to the mountains, great access to golf courses, and just a 5-minute drive or so, 10-minute drive or so, depending on where you're going into town, 10 minutes to Costco, 5 minutes to downtown, as well as the Old Mill District, the river access that goes right through town. So just a truly remarkable neighborhood there. Then you got Summit West, which is more of an up and coming area, a lot of new development, new construction. The Summit High School is in this area too. That opened up in 2001. And so that's a relatively new area of town in the grand scheme of things compared to like where Bend is back in 1900 when it first became incorporated. But Summit West, you've got the Westgate neighborhood, you've got the Tree Farm neighborhood, we've got the Northwest Crossing, we've got Shevlin Meadows, we've got multiple neighborhoods that are all, in the mix of being fully developed, some of which are just getting started. Westgate's going to be more of like a custom home neighborhood, as is the Tree Farm. Northwest Crossing, that's more of a established neighborhood. There are hundreds of homes within Northwest Crossing. We did a video about that recently. It's almost like its own little ecosystem over there on the west side in the Northwest Crossing area, right by Summit High School. There's a medical district over there. There's restaurants, there's shops, there's all kinds of things over there. And it's access to the west side amenities, Phil's Trailhead, there's the Deschutes River, the road to Mount Bachelor, some of the golf courses in that area, absolutely stunning. And so the price points on this side of town are a little bit more expensive than, say, the east side of town. And this is going to be primarily the most expensive, most desired part of town for people that are looking for custom homes with the views, with the locations to get you from point A to point B in a very short manner. So very desired area here. If we go down below the red line here, we get into like, say, the south edge of Summit West. That's where Summit High School is going to be located. We've got Century West too, another very desired area. Anything on the west side is going to be a little bit higher of a price point just because of its proximity to the outdoor amenities. amenities and people's desire to go up Century Drive in the winter or the summer months to access, if it's the snow parks for snowshoeing or cross-country skiing, or going on all the way to Mount Bachelor for the downhill, or in the summertime, it's the mountain biking, it's the trail running, it's the lake scene up in Cascade Lakes. I mean, it's just truly spectacular. There's thousands of cars that go up that road every single day. Century Drive, it takes you all the way up. It's the road to Mount Bachelor, as well as the road to the Cascade Lakes and the scenic byway there. So again, houses are absolutely stunning. They range from stick-built homes in subdivisions to custom builds. Tethrow neighborhoods over here, very sought after area as well. It's a golf course neighborhood, but it's also the premier golf community in Bend, as is Broken Top, which is a little bit more established. That's fully developed, but a very desired area as well. Again, the west side of town, price points are a little bit higher in this area, and that's okay. If we go down to the southwest part of Bend, that is going to be another up and coming area. It's the Brookswood corridor. So there's a lot of development down there. The Aspen Rim area, the River Rim area. It's the road to the Deschutes River Woods subdivision, which is the very southern tip of Bend. If not, it's on the outskirts of the city limits. But very desired area as well. It's the road to the gateway to like the Sun River area and to the south of town. But very, very sought after neighborhood here. Access to the river is second to none. And so most of the river access, historically speaking, is going to be like in this range here where this bend is. This all used to be a mill here, hence the name, the Old Mill District. But even, let's see, even right in this area here, this has only been accessible river space since 2003, 2004, because the Reed Market Road extension did not go in until that time frame. And so this all used to be mill here. And this was all just inaccessible for any pedestrian or anybody that wanted to recreate on the river, because it was owned by the mills and they had exclusive access to the rivers there. But if we're talking about the Southwest Bend neighborhood, the river access here, there's trails that go along the river here, all the way up through this area. And so people are hiking, they're walking, they're exploring trails down there, but just having access to the river is just truly a privilege. And so once this whole area got developed, like from a residential and commercial standpoint back in the early 2000s, it kind of changed the scape of this whole side of town, because historically speaking, like I said, it was the mill area. And so it was just kind of an industrial area where work was done, where the logs were floated down the river, and that's where the production for the logs went into production. That's where it started. But again, neighborhoods are fantastic now, very historic. The Southern Crossing area, this is where the Old Mill District is. And so that is about a 20 to 25-year-old project. We're getting up into that range now, but it's truly one of the most remarkable areas of town. It connects with downtown. The downtown area is over here. And so very walkable, very bikeable, just a real scene down there. It's just very cool with all the unique businesses down there, the shops, the coffee shops, the restaurants, the bars, things like that. It's just the place where people really love to congregate and gravitate to, especially when they're visiting from out of town. This is the area where people are floating the river on a daily basis. There's thousands of people in the summertime that do it on a daily basis, but this is the stretch of river where the river is floated. Usually it kind of filters into the downtown area as well, if you're at the edge of Drake Park, if people are doing the real long float. But these neighborhoods here, these are historic areas here, and Old Bend, no exception. This is where the downtown neighborhoods are. Very historic homes here. They've been deemed or declared historic sites, some of them by the city of Bend. And so these homes don't necessarily get put on the market. They get more or less passed down from generation to generation. But truly a remarkable area down here. The Drake Park area is right here. Just a great park. The other side of the river is going to have a Highland Elementary School, but this whole area here, very historic home sites and just a very unique neighborhood. So walkable. Some of these homes are right on the river too. And so, like I said, those things, they rarely get put on the market. They just get passed down from generation to generation, because they are, obviously you're not going to make more real estate that's on the river, especially that central to the downtown area and the historic part of Old Bend. So very unique. If we go down to the southeast part of Bend here, this is kind of the new up and coming part of town. Every part of town is up and coming, I'll say that, but the new high school's over here, Caldera High School is probably about right there, opened up 2 years ago. And so anytime there's a new high school in this area, I've lived here long enough to deal to see 2 high schools open, which makes Bend now sitting with 4 high schools. So Bend High School, obviously the original high school back in the 1920s, 1930s. Mountain View High School is going to be up in this area here. Opened up in 1978, I want to say. You can correct me if I'm wrong if you're a Bend veteran watching this video. But then we have Caldera, which is 2 years old. And then, of course, Summit's over here. That's 2001. And then Bend High School is right about here. So those are the 4 spots for the high schools. But this little Southeast Bend pocket here is now going to be kind of like the next up and coming wave. There are multiple builders there that have hundreds, if not thousands of homes planned over the next 5 to 10 years. And so a lot of commercial development going in, a lot of residences going in, of course. And so that little area down here is going to be just a behemoth of construction over the next couple of years. Could be a great spot for a first-time home buyer, could be a great spot for an investment, could be just a great spot for anybody that just wants to live in a bustling part of town that's going to be kind of up and coming. There's going to be a lot of price increases. I think valuations of homes are going to be going up once everything bottoms out with the current state of the market. But again, over the long haul, I mean, this is going to be a very, very unique area of town. A lot of new commercial stuff's going to be going in. It's just going to bolster the property values of people that live in those areas. So very cool. I kind of grew up in the southeast part of town. That's my neck of the woods. I lived out a little bit further outside the city limits in this area here where there's a lot of irrigation land. Lots are 5 to 10 acres, sometimes more. And so a lot of farmland, horse property out there. The east side of town, the juniper trees. We had some ponderosas, of course, too, but still you could kind of sense that you're right on the border of that ponderosa tree line and the juniper tree line, where to the east it turns into like the Oregon Badlands. But one of my favorite parts of town. I love Bend altogether, but that's my neighborhood there. Larkspur is going to be a actually the old farm district. Let's go back into that real quick. So we've got the old farm district, again, southeast part of town. A lot of it's just going to filter and piggyback off of the southeast part of town, but there's just a lot of new up and coming development. The city decided to add more urban growth boundary. You can see here the blue line is going to be kind of the Bend city proper, and you got like little pockets like here, this is empty here, new growth boundary expansion. We've got the expansion right here, more urban growth going to be good for commercial development, residential development. You can see here. So this all came about back in, I think, 2016 or 17, where the latest expansion occurred. But you can see here that the city certainly wants the outskirts of the southeast part of town to get a lot of the attention. And that's the direction that things are going to be going over the next several years. So if you're an investor, great spot to buy a home. I mean, anywhere in Bend's going to be great, but this is going to be definitely a place that you want to consider over the next couple of years. If we go up to the Larkspur area, this is going to be the east side of town. A lot of old homes and older homes, but there's also new pockets of development as well. Costco's over in this area. It's going to be like right in this little scene here, but eventually Costco's going to be moving to the north side. And so we've got car dealerships. We've got all kinds of big department stores. You got the Old Navies. You got the Safeways over here. We've got car dealerships, like I said. We've got a lot of stuff that's going on in this region here. East side of town, a little bit less walkable. You need more of a car to get around on this side of town as opposed to the west side, where everything's either a bike away or a walk away. It's all condensed over there, and that's kind of what makes it such a desirable area. But the east side of town is also fantastic because you got bigger lots. You've got a little bit more space in between homes, and the culture is a little bit slower, a little slower pace. A lot of people just love it over here because it is so unique in that regard. But again, this is where the Costco shopping area is. This is where the medical center area is. That's in the Mountain View area neighborhood as well. And then we've got the Orchard District as well. And so this is Pilot Butte right here. You can see the little circle and the line, the trail. But that's Pilot Butte State Park right there. This used to be basically the area where the city limits stopped, right? And so Orchard District, this kind of used to be the countryside of Bend in the early days, right? And so these are bigger lots, older homes, and the Orchard District is called that because there are some pockets where you can sense that this is where a lot of growing, a lot of farming and agriculture took place back in the early days of Bend. And so now it's kind of been redeveloped. There are areas that are getting acquired that are getting developed with newer construction, but a lot of these homes are still original from years and years ago. And you can see that some of them have been renovated and they've been updated. Others haven't, and they need to be, or they could be at some point in time if it makes sense for the person that owns the property. But again, more historic area here. Homes are a little bit more affordable than, say, places or neighborhoods on the east or west side of town. But again, just a great area, great central location, and it's easily accessible to all the other amenities that Bend has to offer. Bend, Mountain View neighborhood, this is the medical center here, absolutely bustling medical center area. Crazy how much is going in over there as far as from a medical center standpoint, but a lot of homes are going in. There's already plenty of homes over here. Mountain View High School, like I said earlier, it's going to be right in this area. A lot of development going on up here. And so the point is like, if you are a first-time home buyer, this little area here, this little square is going to be probably the best spot for, say, a brand new home buyer, first-time home buyer. I've got a lot of friends that wound up buying their first home up in this little region here, and eventually they wound up moving somewhere else in town, or they just stayed put. Great location as well. I mean, again, like we talked about, Bend is just a great area, small enough to access everything in 10 to 15 minutes of a drive, but at the same time you still have, you know, distinct areas and flavors and personalities that all make up the city of Bend. So that basically kind of wraps things up today. It's going to give you guys an idea as to, you know, what's going on with the four quadrants of Bend, the culture of Bend, and what neighborhood might be a good fit for you. Now you can take this information and maybe explore some of our other videos. We do have an Aubrey Butte video. We do have a Summit West video. We've got one about Westgate, about the Tree Farm, about Northwest Crossing. Our goal is to make videos about all these neighborhoods, as well as just, you know, individual isolated videos about homes that are on the market, brand new construction, to give you a feel for what the lay of the floor plans are, and then also explain to you a little bit about the neighborhoods around it and the access to the amenities, things like that. Our goal is to just give you as much information as possible to help you make the best overall decision for you and your family's needs as you do your research and prepare for your move to Bend, Oregon. So again, thank you guys for watching. We're so appreciative of the support that you guys give us. If you like this video, please like it officially, please. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and drop a comment in the comment section below. Give us some more ideas. What do you want to know more about when it comes to Bend in the Central Oregon area? Our goal is to earn your trust and earn your business through this educational platform here and give you as much information as possible. So when the time is right, you will reach out to us. You will choose us, and we have a chance to represent you with your real estate needs. So again, our contact information in the description below. You can call us, you can text us, you can shoot us an email, you can set up the Zoom call, whatever it is that you're comfortable with. We want to meet you where you're at. But again, thank you guys for watching this. We're so thankful that you are supporting us here, and we'll just plan on either seeing you around town or on the next video. Have a great day.